So it took apparently a lot of courage to get this done on the Democrat side. 8 Senate Democrat caucus members voted with Republicans to break the filibuster, a massive leap toward reopening the government. But it's just the first step. And those Senate Dems have sparked a fire of rage, igniting a civil war among members of their own Democratic Party. So they are taking some heat now for the decision they made to put the country and suffering Americans ahead of their own politics. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here with my co-host, Kayleigh McEnany, also joining us today, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Cheryl Casoni, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business, and David Asman, rounding out the contention of Fox Business with us today. And we are really, really grateful to have him.
Take it over.
All right. Well, the U.S. Senate voted 60-40 to pass the GOP's revised spending package overnight. And again, it's the first step in a series of procedural events, which could take days. We pray that it won't. The 8 members of the Democrat caucus who voted with Republicans are either retiring, so they basically had nothing to lose, or not facing re-election in 2026. Sunday night's Senate vote is only further exposing divisions among the Dems.
We are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections.
I think there's going to be a lot of very angry people out there in this country. I know there will be a lot of angry people out there in this country, having watched just a handful of Democrats join with Republicans. There's no way to defend this.
What this Senate is about to do is make a horrific situation even worse.
Okay, you know why he's so angry, Chris Murphy, right? Because he didn't get what he wanted in this whole, I don't know, extortion move. Well, it doesn't stop there. Democrat politicians are voicing their concerns over X, calling last night's vote a mistake, something they will not support, even going as far as calling Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer no longer effective and saying that he should be replaced. Airlines, which have been dealing with the brunt of the fallout outside of the 42 million people who need food aid, that is. The airlines are praising the vote, but there's still a mountain to climb. Flights canceled, federal workers not getting paid, SNAP recipients still not getting their food assistance benefits. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the issues from the shutdown are not going away immediately.
It's only going to get worse. I look to, the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle.
The President Trump on his Truth Social today posted, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now, 3 exclamation points. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and did not take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. David Asman, you are nodding. Your thought on that?
Well, it's very interesting, first of all, that it is now revealed, most of us realized it was the Schumer shutdown. I mean, it was a Democratic shutdown. Even though the media, about 85% of the media was saying no, it was a Republican shutdown, now it's pretty clear to everybody that the Democrats had control over whether the government opened or not. And the 8 defectors are the ones that are proving that point. First thing that was happening was the human price was just becoming too hard.
It still is. It's not over.
It's not over, but not only on the workers and the service people and everybody who is not getting paid, who should be getting paid for the work they're doing. And I would put number 1 there, the air traffic controllers, at least in terms of public safety. But the inconvenience was also a problem for Democrats. But there was also some threats from the president. The president, I think, kind of played this very well. He realized that there were certain things they were vulnerable on. First of all, the filibuster, suggesting, we know that the next time Democrats have a trifecta, they have the House, the Senate, and the White House, they're probably going to try to pull the filibuster themselves to get a couple of new states in, to get more electoral votes, et cetera. His threat to end the filibuster, I think, scared the heck out of a lot of Democrats. But also his focus on Obamacare and the incredible unaffordability of the Affordable Care Act is becoming very clear. That was the main sticking points of Democrats. They wanted at least $1 trillion, if not more, primarily to bail out a system that we were told was going to lower prices. Instead,
Right.
prices have increased 96%.
They wanted that
because of
money without reforming it. They just wanted
That's
more
right.
money into it because they don't want to change it. You know what was so ironic about that, though, at the time last week?
Tell me, Alanis.
Well, I'll make it quick. So Obama was speaking because he was trying to help out candidates in mayoral and gubernatorial races on the East Coast. So you had him talking, and then you had Democrats holding out in the longest in our history government shutdown over Obamacare and how broken it is and how nobody can pay for it.
So what would have happened if Obamacare wasn't jacked up and oversubsidized during the pandemic? Would rates have skyrocketed later this year? Yes, they would have, absolutely. So that just goes to show you the program was overwrought, and that the rate hike and the pain that people are going to feel who thought that they could rely on this new government subsidy, they are now completely left in the cold by something. This was a can that was kicked. You know, Obama didn't care because he knew he wasn't going to be in office any longer. So when the pain really hit, it's like having an adjustable rate mortgage. And then all of a sudden it goes fixed rate when rates are high.
Ooh,
and you can no longer afford it. And that's the pain that people are feeling right now. But what the Democrats are proposing is just more government. So every time we have more government in one of these horrific hybrid programs, somehow it gets more and more costly. And the only fix when you have too much government for them is more government. Hakeem Jeffries is running around saying, you know, we have an affordability crisis. People can't afford everything. Well, maybe their taxes are too damn high because they're paying for broken programs.
Like the rent in New York, remember him?
Exactly right.
All right. A column in the New York Times is arguing that before the Senate Dems decided to cave last night, quote, Dems were on a roll, so why stop now? The piece explains, though, Democrats were winning this one. Polls showed that most voters blamed Republicans, not Democrats, for the current shutdown. And last week's Democrats wrecked Republicans in the elections, and Trump blamed his party's losses in part on the shutdown. Democrats were riding higher than they have been in months. It's worth noting the headline, Democrats were on a roll, why stop now, was changed. It now reads, what were Democrats thinking? Cheryl.
Because they made the wrong bet. They put all of their eggs into the basket of Obamacare and ACA, and it has completely failed and powered back up against them. Look, $138 billion is what we spent on those ACA subsidies alone in fiscal 2025. By the way, President Trump has been coming up with ideas. Anybody look at True Social over the weekend? He said, let's take that money, give it back to the American people, put it in their
It's a
pockets.
great idea.
And you know what? It actually fixes the biggest thing that people like David and I were yelling about when they were trying to pass Obamacare in 2009, 2010 on Fox Business. We said there's two things that are missing from this: tort reform, and there's no competition in the health insurance market. Those two things, I believe, is what made Obamacare fail. We knew it then. It has come to fruition. Now it is a failure, and the Democrats are so misguided.
And what was so interesting were all those Dems who were pushing for single payer and getting everybody. Can you imagine if everybody were on this program? What would we do? Well, you couldn't keep your doctor.
Well, and President Obama promised that. That's probably why he has been silent. But the other thing is the real pain to the American public. You mentioned the flight delays, the cancellations.
Food.
Now the three biggest headlines are SNAP, the flights, and air traffic controllers, and no paychecks to federal workers, not ACA. They've messed up, I think. And I think they're realizing that today.
Well, they signed something that didn't have ACA in it.
Yeah. You know, a reporter asked Tim Kaine, do you wish you would have found an off-ramp sooner? Tim Kaine was one of the 8 senators who all of a sudden had, an epiphany. Let's open the government. Well, Tim Kaine responded to the reporter, I was so focused on the Virginia elections, I wasn't in this discussion on the health care to see how dug in they were.
Wait a minute.
So he just admits, I was so focused
So
on
nobody
the
in
Virginia
his
elections.
state is on food assistance? Nobody was suffering?
He's got 200,000 folks who are workers who aren't getting
suffering
paid.
across the country. And tomorrow, TSA workers are not getting their second paycheck.
Wow.
And tomorrow, air traffic controllers are not getting their second paycheck. And I want you to listen. This is what Tricia McLaughlin told me is the real cost of what is happening. Listen.
With each passing day, American travelers are really going to be facing increased delays and increased implications that happen because our TSA workers are going without pay. As you mentioned, we have talked to many officers who they're sleeping in their cars. They have just tens of dollars left in their bank account.
Did you hear what she said? There are TSA workers sleeping in your cars, okay? And that's great that, you get the paycheck. I'm so glad that Trump is doing that, the bonus for those who came. But the reality is some people couldn't afford to come. Some people couldn't afford to sleep in their cars. Some people couldn't afford to miss a paycheck. So how do we make sure this never happens again? Number one, Senator Kennedy put up legislation about withdrawing pay from members of Congress. I know there are constitutional requirements, but he has a workaround. He says, let's put the money in an escrow account and pay them in the aftermath. That needs to be done so this never happens again. Congress shouldn't get paid if TSA workers are not. And number two, you mentioned the filibuster. Dems are going to do away with it entirely. I think it should be eliminated for spending bills.
Can I just
Those
say
are the two ways this will never happen again.
Hold on one second, David, because because you're the only one who's worked in the White House on the couch. So I want to ask you this question. Shutdowns. Okay, there was a bill that was put forth. Langford was talking about this. Senator Langford. Can we just narrow it to when it's a spending bill that we don't need a 60% majority so this never happens? Because the president he learned some lessons about shutdowns when he wanted one over the wall.
Exactly. That exact one, the second longest shutdown happened very shortly ago, President Trump's first term. The longest one, President Trump's second term. It's because Democrats have a Trump derangement syndrome problem. And in order to ensure this doesn't happen again, and I don't know, a future J.D. Vance presidency or whatever, you need to end the filibuster for spending bills. TSA workers shouldn't be sleeping in their cars. I'm sorry, it's worth nuking the filibuster so people don't sleep in their cars.
November 24th, voters, that was one of their top issues, illegal immigration. So apparently walls work.
Yeah,
so that shutdown also didn't give Dems what they wanted.
I was just going to say the healthcare industry through all this loves the Affordable Care Act. They're making out like bandits. The amount of money, the increase in the share value of healthcare companies has gone up much greater than the S&P. And a lot of that money, guess where it goes? To a lot of Democrats. The healthcare industry, look at who's receiving some of that money. Liz Warren, Bernie Sanders, et cetera.
Welcome to big government.
Follow the money. That's all I'm saying.
We always do.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.